Welcome back to our channel. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much. We do not deserve you. For those of you that are new, welcome to the shit show that is us.
Yes. Today's case we are covering has a lot of twists and turns. Imagine going on vacation with 6 of your friends, then day 2 of the vacation you're found dead by a maid with 6 friends having sketchy explanations for your death. Shout out to my girl Shauna. I learned this case from her. She was talking about it while we were at work, and I was like, tell me the name of this case, because like I feel like we need to cover it. And she told me, and I was like, I'm gonna do a deep dive. And girl, did I ever. Also, Shauna was the girl that I told you about that always is like, girl, you need to stop flipping your hair. You have a habit. So I'm gonna try only to flip my hair this one time this entire episode.
It's gotta be a good flip though.
Okay.
Like a really good flip there.
Okay.
That felt good.
That felt good, Shauna. I'm sorry. If I do multiple, then you can call me out at work.
But before we get into that, my name's Natalie.
I'm Erika, and this is Drunken True Crime.
Okay, so again, thank you for those of you that are returning. Welcome for those of you that are new. For those of you that are new, we do have a few disclaimers. We're going to go through them quick, so listen up. 1, we talk about true crime. 2, we drink. 3, we cuss. Whoa. 4, we might even laugh, and we are either most of the time making fun of each other,
yes,
or the asshat criminals in these cases, but never the victims. I just realized I didn't have the light on the entire last one that we filmed. Shit.
It's not like we needed it because it is sunny. But also look at this cutest Maltese out there.
All dogs to me right now are shitheads.
Yeah, I mean, Miller's on the side right now just watching us.
Yeah, so for those of you that have not seen the episode before this, I got a puppy.
This is the first puppy that she's ever had.
And I got one of the most hyper breeds you could get, guys. I got a lab.
Yeah, I mean, they're up there, but it's a Jack Russell is like on crack.
Yeah.
His name is Miller. I want to name him Lil Mill, like as a rapper name.
Yeah.
Lil Mill, what up?
His name is Miller. Right now he's chewing on a bone, so if you guys can hear that in the background, I don't think the mic should pick up on it, but if you do, I apologize, but live with it because he's entertained.
He's going to town.
I know, he's a chewer. So we are going to try to get through this somewhat quick because he's only going to be entertained for a little bit with us, so let's get into it.
So today's drink, we are drinking On the Rocks. Again, it's that brand that I keep talking about that has the penguin. It's pre-made. This is the Jalapeno Margarita mix.
Yeah, I don't drink tequila, but I am going to taste it.
Yeah,
so.
she's going to...
I'll give you an honest review
which
of this
is
one.
why she has the Miller Lite.
Oh, that's dangerous. That's so good.
So I love spicy jalapeno margaritas. They're like my favorite. And this is...
so good.
Hands down, it feels like we're at a really fancy restaurant where they do the jalapenos in the drink.
This was better than the old fashioned, I will say.
Oh, the old fashioned was not that great.
Yeah.
But I'm not like an old fashioned fan. But this jalapeno margarita is to die.
It is very, very good. Highly recommend. Like I said, I'm not going to drink it. I don't drink tequila. It makes me mean.
I feel like we should give this a 5 out of 5 martini glasses.
For sure. I agree. I agree.
That's a first out of this.
Yeah. Anywho, so with that being said, grab your cocktails. Cheers, bitches, and let's get into this case.
Cheers. So, Shanquella Brenda Robinson was born on January 9th, 1997 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which means she was a Capricorn. Those Capricorns out there, you know who you are. To parents Salamandra and Bernard Robinson. Remember that, Salamandra.
Okay.
She also had an older sister named Tequila Quilla Long. She would have been turning 26 years old on January 9th of this year, which is extremely sad.
That is.
Shanquella is remembered above all else as an incredibly sweet person. Her mother recalled Shanquella as a very kind with a heart of gold. She loved everyone. She didn't mistreat anyone. No one could possibly say anything bad about this person because she was such a good person. That's her mother saying this.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I know sometimes moms can, like, talk up their kids, but that was really sweet. And
this is coming from, I wrote the script, and this is coming from someone who's a mother who was like, you can do better.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, your mom.
Yeah, she would never.
I see. I was
she
like,
would
wow.
never call me a heart of gold.
Yeah, you're right. Your mom wouldn't.
Even if I was.
Yeah.
Which I don't think I am.
Even if I was, but I'm not, so.
So one of her friends also said to know her is to love her, which, I mean, I've been told that too. In 2015, Shanquella graduated from West Charlotte High School and then enrolled in Winston-Salem State University, which is a highly known, like, university in the South. It's really big, actually.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
When Shanquella graduated from Winston-Salem, she did not have to get a job. She did not have to go into, like, the job market because girl was a fucking boss. Like, when I'm saying boss because not only at 25, she founded not one, but 2 businesses. The first business was called Exquisite Babies, which is a styling and hairstyling company for children.
That's fun.
So it's kind of like that company that you worked for.
Like Libby Lou.
Libby Lou.
Yeah.
I could not think of it for the life of me when I was writing the script.
Yeah, so that one's more like costume stuff, and this one's more stylish.
It's like hair braiding. It's like doing their hair, their makeup.
That's
like
so cool. That's fun.
making children, especially African American children, feel beautiful.
That's so cool.
The second business is the Exquisite Boutique, which sold women's clothing online. Shanquella's goal was to reach customers worldwide through worldwide shipping. That's a fucking goal. Like,
that's impressive. Like, and she's also absolutely
gorgeous. I put some photos in here that we'll put on our
YouTube
screen. She is absolutely gorgeous.
It's like very, very gorgeous. So at Exquisite Boutique, she would have friends actually model for her, and her best friend actually,
Khalil Cook,
even designed some of the clothing, which is really cool, actually. So Shanquella was also a social media celebrity. Her personal Instagram account had more than 100,000 followers, which, girl, tell us how you do it.
How did you do it? Because we can't get there.
No, we're at 1,500, 1,300.
13.
Yeah.
Which, high five.
I know.
We're at 1,300.
Hey, guys. Hey, it's better than nothing. And only like 10 are our friends. So
I love how you put that in there. Only 10 of our friends.
Yeah. Are like in real life friends.
Right. I know.
All the other guys are like, we've actually met some really cool people.
We have met really cool people on Instagram and through this journey.
Yeah. So on October 28th, 2022, she went on a trip to celebrate a friend's birthday. She and 6 of her friends, and we say friends very loosely here. They actually went on a trip to Cabo, which
I've never been, and it's something I want to do. Definitely.
David and I had a trip planned during the pandemic, and we had to cancel it.
Oh, that sucks.
I know. So these 6 pieces of shit are Khalil Cook,
Dejanay, I'll do this.
Yep.
These 6 pieces of shit who we're going to quote unquote call friends, but I'm going to call them pieces of shit, are Khalil Cook, Dejanay Jackson, Winter Donovan, Nazir Wiggins, Alyssa Hyatt, and Malik Dwyer.
Yep. So here we have 3 women and 3 men, which Shanquella would make it 7 in total. So they actually rented a private house with Cabo Villas, which is a resort of vacation homes with ocean views. Now,
and let me tell you,
gorgeous.
These are fucking gorgeous.
They are. We'll put a picture if you're watching on YouTube. We'll put a picture up here. But the group was staying in a 5-bedroom, 5.5 bathroom villa that sleeps 12 called Villa Linda 32. The 7 vacationers were super excited to drink, eat, and spend time together at the pool and beach because, like, what the fuck else do you do in Mexico? The villa itself cost $1,495 a night, which is fucking not that bad.
Not for 7 people.
I was going to say, which split between 7 people is fucking absolutely doable. But by the time you add this up, the food, the drinks, and the private chef.
Yes, a private chef.
It can add up to a couple $100s per person.
So the first day of vacation was relatively drama-free. They spent the night hanging out, drinking, swimming. A lot of their activity was documented on Shanquella's Instagram story. A lot of stories that were posted seemed like your normal vacation. However, at 8:45 p.m., another post, he's underneath my feet, was added on her Instagram story of her completely passed out in the hammock. The story was recorded by her phone, but was filmed and uploaded by Khalil. Remember him? He's her actual best friend.
That's so, like, I get, like, maybe if you were, like, younger and, like, you do something like that, but she had 100,000 followers. Like, to post something like that when she didn't know.
Have you watched this yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
We got our first dead buddy.
Buddy, 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 buddy. She too full.
Like, that doesn't seem that bad to me, but the fact that it was like on her Instagram and like her phone and put on her Instagram story,
but
right?
pay attention to the comment in the video. We have our first dead body.
Oh, okay. So when I was watching, I couldn't hear the audio because our microphones are plugged in. So that's fucked up.
Yeah, what comes to mind when you first hear that?
Why would you say it that? Like, I think I understand what he was like trying to say. It was like, oh, we've got the first one like dead, like passed out.
First one passed out. First one drunk. First one like blackout.
Yeah. But like dead is a weird.
Dead is a very bold word.
Yeah, especially now that we know what happened. But yeah, that is weird. I don't think I would ever say it like that.
I would never say something like that, but to put it in that terms is very interesting. I mean, we could speculate all day, like Joe Calamezzo, but I mean, we don't know if like he was in on the motive or if it was just like premeditated or not. So
yeah. So now there are other posts that were posted to her stories later on after she wakes up. Also, at some point during the night, she makes a phone call to her mother. Now, during this phone call,
you gotta say the name. Salamandra. There you go.
Yeah, Salamandra. Now, during this phone call, Shanquella told her mom that they were getting ready for dinner, that they actually had a private chef coming in and making tacos, which, my God, I
tacos,
really
like literally reading that, I was like,
what if we just say, like, F the rest of filming for the day and go to get Fiesta?
We still have one more.
I know.
But that's not too bad.
No, it's not. So Salamandra said that Shanquella sounded happy and told her that she would call her back tomorrow. Now, after the dinner, the group started playing drinking games because, again, what else do you do on vacation?
Exactly. They're like mid-20s.
Yeah.
In a like beautiful villa in Mexico. Like, what else would you do?
I could not have afforded that in my mid-20s.
Oh, no. They're like definitely like above what we're
doing. Yeah. So the following, because she had two businesses. I mean, she's straight up boss bitch. So,
but like, what about the other friends? Like that leads into question.
Yeah. So the following day on October 29th, it was supposed to be just another day of partying, enjoying the villa, hanging out at the beach. Now, during the day, another video was posted from her phone that showed Shanquella looking for the others. Now, during this video, it shows her asking where everyone was at. When she does find them, everyone seemed to be in the same room without her, which just seemed a little bit sketchy. Yeah.
Have you ever had this happen in like a group, like vacation together?
No.
I actually have. It's not for them to plot my murder, but it was just like they were just talking about the day. But I mean, like as a friend, you feel secluded. Yeah, you feel like left out. So I can only feel for her. I mean, Khalil was the only one that she actually knew.
Yeah.
The rest of them were just acquaintances. Yeah. So, like, if I was on a vacation and I walked, like, asking where everybody was, and I walked into a room and everybody's there in a meeting room, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why am I not invited to this apparently meeting?
It just feels weird.
Like, I feel for her in this moment.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yep. And then at 2 p.m. that day, Khalil makes a phone call to Shanquella's mother saying that she's not feeling well due to alcohol. He then told her that they were going to take care of her and that they had a doctor coming in to help. Now, during that time that the doctor was there to help Shanquella, Khalil was keeping Salamandra up to date on what was going on. Because, again, to Erika's point, Khalil was really the only, like, close friend that she had in the group of people that were there.
He went on vacations with this family.
Yeah.
Like, that's how close it was. It's like you, Natalie, or you, Chelsea, and Katie going on family vacations with me.
Yeah.
And then you're calling my mom saying I have alcohol poisoning and then end up dead.
Oh.
A few hours later, Salamandra receives a final phone call from Khalil where he broke the news that her daughter had passed away. Her mother said during this phone call that Khalil showed no emotion. This is supposedly Shanquella's best friend and close to her family. I mean, I can't speculate. I can't say how I would feel in that, like,
moment. I mean, he could be in shock. He could be
in shock.
I just think,
but you're telling someone that's basically your second mom, that my best friend and their daughter is gone.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, to your point, I don't know how I would react, and I'm not a very emotional person, despite what the last 2 weeks. Not typically a very emotional person. You tell me I have no heart all the time.
I do not.
Because I don't cry in The Notebook.
Well, that's different.
Yeah, so to your point, I don't know how I'd react, but I would not be okay. Like, I would not just be, like, calm and be like, oh, yep, sorry, by the way.
I would not be
Erika's-
calm about it and, like, try to make decisions based on, like, what to do next. Like,
yeah. I think I could maybe go into, like, okay, maybe that would be something tangible that I could hold on to. Okay, what do we do next? Like, I'm a very type A person. Like, if that helped me get through, like, okay, this is what we need to do. This, and this.
But I can't imagine you calling my mother and us being on vacation and, like, I just mysteriously died and you going, hey, Tammy, she's dead.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's weird.
Even
it's
if
weird,
you,
but I hate
if
to,
it-
like, sorry.
Yeah, we hate to like put like speculate on like his emotions because everybody's grief is different and it looks different. And I wanted to point that out that it looks different. So like right away we're not blaming Khalil that he like knew something or whatever. I just found it interesting to point out because that's something that I would hope that I wouldn't do, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never been in that situation.
Yeah.
Anyways, rather than staying in Mexico and helping arrange for Shanquella to be back in the state, like arranging for her body to be shipped back, the Cabo Six packed up all their belongings and fled the country. All they brought back were Shanquella's bags. Khalil went over to the Robinsons to drop off her bags and told the same story that Shanquella died of alcohol poisoning.
I just, like, I can't believe that they fled. One, I would want to stay
Like,
there.
why would
And I
you
would wanna
not
meet
like
your
try to
parents.
help
Yeah.
bring the body back if you
They're
had
like-
nothing to do with anything and it was just a mysterious death,
I wouldn't leave
especially
my friend.
alcohol poisoning? Like, why wouldn't you try to help arrange like the funeral and everything to bring her back?
I would not leave my friend. I just could not leave my friend's body in a different country and leave her to be by herself.
Right.
Can you give me one of his chew toys?
Yeah.
He's about to go to sleep. I know it. You're fighting it. You're fighting it, my little one. Yeah, we'll do Cal.
You have to leave all this in too.
I know.
Us struggling.
This is, yeah, if anyone's thinking about getting a puppy, don't do it. Okay, so
Do it. I will definitely help you with the puppy.
she did. I'm not going to lie. She came over last week when I first got him, and she came and played with him, and I cried and did the dishes and cleaned my kitchen. I'm not proud. I'm just tired. I'm a sleeper. But after a week and a half, I have him sleeping 10 hours straight at night now.
Yeah.
So
She's
we work.
doing an excellent job at being a puppy mother.
Thank you.
More than I am because I am definitely the one of the parents that like will cave because they manipulate me with those sweet eyes.
Yeah, he can't manipulate me. He has
But like Natalie's cracking the whip already.
That's because also he's going to be 80 pounds. Like I need him to listen to me and learn these things now when he's little and I can manhandle him versus when he's 90 pounds and he can manhandle me.
He's already listening to you, so that's a good start.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Okay, so Bernard said that this was the first person to be honest with him about what? Okay.
There you go.
We skipped ahead.
Blah, blah, blah.
So, from the beginning, Salamandra didn't believe the alcohol poisoning story. Something just didn't add up here. In the first few days from Shanquella's death, the Cabo Six came and talked to her parents, and each one of them had a different story about what happened. Some of them said that she had first been found unconscious in the bathroom by a maid, and then that's when they found out she had alcohol poisoning. However, others in the group said that they found her in the bed, and that's when they found out that she had alcohol poisoning. So, already, no one had a consistent story here. And these were just sending up red flags everywhere.
They would be sending up red flags to me too. I'm like, you can't get your story straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, you're lying.
I know. It's just weird. And even if you're scared, like you're going to get in trouble and stuff, but y'all are all over the age, like you're in your mid 20s. Like there's nothing, like it's just weird. So then Salamandra and Bernard received additional information that furthered their suspicions. Now, while Bernard was trying to make arrangements with the resort to coordinate the return of his daughter's body, he was actually on the phone with a woman who worked in management, which he said that he'd spent days trying to reach someone who spoke English. Again, they're in Cabo. But this woman said that she did not actually die from alcohol poisoning, that she died due to breaking her neck, which...
Now, how do you go from alcohol poisoning to breaking your neck?
I know. So
You heard that right.
Yeah.
Breaking her neck.
Those are two very different things.
The management told her father at the resort.
Yeah. I mean, thank God that he was able to get in contact with
It
management
took
there.
days, though.
Yeah.
Because, that shouldn't have happened.
No, none of this should have happened the way it's going. Her friend shouldn't have been lying. The management shouldn't have been stalling, which is what they did. But at least when they did finally get a hold of management, we'll see. We're telling the truth.
Yeah. Bernard said that this was the first person to be honest with them about what happened to their daughter. In an interview with ABC, Salamandra received an anonymous call saying that there had been a fight between Shanquella and the others on the trip. From this point, Salamandra tried to confront the members of the group about this fight, but they denied it. On November 5th, 2022, the death certificate comes out. The Mexican Secretariat of Health performed Shanquella's autopsy on November 4th. The death certificate said the cause of death was severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. Atlas luxation is the dislocation of the first two vertebrae in the neck. In simpler terms, she suffered from a broken neck or dislocation of the neck. So basically, slightly decapitation.
Yeah. So what the management said was actually true.
Actually true.
And what her friends were saying was absolutely not true.
This woman suffered a broken neck and the dislocation of the neck of the first two vertebrae of your spine. That is horrific.
Yeah. And the fact that her friends are like, oh, it's just alcohol poisoning. What?
How do you go from alcohol poisoning to literally the autopsy was done where we see that she had a broken neck? I'm sorry.
I know. Obviously, people are lying here. Okay.
The death certificate doesn't even mention alcohol poisoning in this whole report. The time frame of her death from the injury to death was only 15 minutes. Time of death was 3 p.m. Imagine breaking the first two vertebrae of your spine and still not dying in 15 minutes later.
I know. And no one helping.
She felt everything. That is...
Yeah.
This beautiful soul felt everything, and that is not the way she should have gone out.
So also on the death certificate, you can put whether the death was an accident or a violent death. And so this medical examiner said yes, which isn't that straightforward, so we're not really sure.
We're not really sure what she meant. When I was doing research about this, there's no up-to-date on this. I've been keeping a close watch on that, but in the autopsy, it says either you can check if it was an accident or if it was a violent death. And she put yes. So is that yes to an accident or a violent death? We don't know at this point.
Yeah. We also want to mention that once the death certificate came out, the Cabo Six went absolutely silent.
Which, we figured.
They knew they fucked up when they were lying. So on November 11th, her parents made their first public statement. In this statement, they openly said that they do not believe the alcohol poisoning story that the Cabo Six originally had told them. Shanquella's story had picked up interest on some news stations, but it was mostly local outlets or small news stations at this point. So her parents had to plead to get her story out there. They simply just pleaded that they wanted justice for their daughter. Now, during this time, her parents were also having to make plans for Shanquella's funeral, which occurred on November 19th.
God bless them.
I know. Before they could even lay their daughter to rest, a video surfaced on November 16th that shook up everything we knew about Shanquella's death and confirmed the death certificate. Now, in this video, you can see a fight. Now, we say fight here very loosely because let's call a spade a spade. It was an attack occurring between Shanquella and
Dejanay.
That is absolutely brutal.
Okay. So I could not actually find this video because by the time I was writing the script, this video has been taken down on all accounts.
Yeah. Have you seen it before though?
I've seen it before, but I could not post it, which I probably wouldn't post it now because it's not fair to her. It's not fair to her, and it's her death. So yeah. This video shows Shanquella being viciously attacked by Dejanay while laying naked in the master bedroom of the villa. The video shows Dejanay begins viciously punching Robinson, lobbing a series of first jabs to her head, beating her from one side of the master bed to the other corner of the bed, while violently yanking her neck, throwing Shanquella on the floor, delivering further blows to her face, and kicking her head with her knee. In the video, Shanquella is not fighting back. The attack is being filmed by at least 2 people, and Khalil's voice is heard in the background saying, "Quilla, can you even fight back?" Which she responds, "No."
That's chilling. And I'm glad that the video has been taken down because it's not fair.
It's not fair.
It's not
I
fair
mean,
to her family.
No one should watch her death.
She's naked.
Naked, first off.
Yeah, she's also naked, which I know she did not want that plastered across the internet. But it is, and it was shown on huge news outlets. Like, we watched,
ABC,
CBS,
NBC, like
NBC.
all of them were covering it.
Yeah, and it's very, very sad.
When we mentioned before that, like, her parents were having a very hard time getting, like, her story publicized, the video is what actually kind of launched her case into the worldwide media.
Yeah.
That's when, like, ABC, CBS, and everything else, like, kind of came on board. Shanquella was not a fighter. She was not an angry person or a history of being a violent person. And even when in a fight, she made no effort to fight her attacker, as you can see in this video. I cannot imagine what her parents felt watching this video. This is where her parents begged the Mexican and the U.S. police to start looking into their daughter's death more seriously. After the video surfaced, a true investigation of her death started to kick off. The Mexican authorities announced that they are taking her case on her death on November 17th of 2022.
So shortly after ABC got involved and reported that the State Attorney General's Office of Baja California Sur was looking into Shanquella's death as a femicide, which is the intentional and violent death of a woman based on her gender. This is equivalent to homicide in the U.S. Now, on November 18th, the FBI field office in Charlotte announced that they are opening their own investigation into Shanquella's death, which was awesome to hear.
Yeah, so we now have the Mexican authorities and the FBI and the Charlotte field office now taking it seriously to look into Shanquella's death.
Which is great. So the North Carolina Congresswoman Alma Adams stated that, and we quote, "I was saddened to hear of the passing of Shanquella Robinson. My heart goes out to her family and those who loved her. No parent deserves to suffer this tragedy." Down. Anyways, so that video has become a major piece of evidence, obviously, because realistically, how else would Shanquella have broken her neck? Maybe they could say that she was drunk and she fell and stuff. But again, why would you cover that up and lie about it being alcohol poisoning?
But also, she was like filming every second of her life on vacation. Yeah. So like, wouldn't that been captured?
Yeah. No, I agree.
The only thing that was captured was this fight, which is showing Dejanay like violently blowing her head, her neck, and her face.
It's such a vicious video. I'm glad they took it down.
It was not confirmed at first when the video was leaked that the woman that was attacking Shanquella, but now confirmed it was Dejanay Jackson. She has now become a major focus in this investigation, as she should.
Rightfully so.
As she should. Now, I don't have to tell you, murder investigations are complicated to begin with in the U.S. Now, having a murder in a different country while being a U.S. citizen is even more complicated. The Cabo 6 who are allegedly involved in her death are obligated to turn the case over to the Mexican authorities, and the Mexican authorities have a right to take the case on. In order for the U.S. to prosecute this case, the Mexican authorities would have to turn over everything they have on the case so far and cooperate with the U.S. ABC7 has reported that it had been pretty uncommon for the Mexican government to ask for the extradition. Extradition, so I had it right. Ask for the extradition of a U.S. citizen, but this seems to be what happened.
So in order to extradite a U.S. citizen, Mexican authorities would have to submit a request for the person responsible for Shanquella's death to be arrested in the U.S. We do know that they have submitted an arrest warrant for an unknown female, but it's pretty well known or thought that it's Dejanay Jackson. Now, this request would be evaluated by 2 major U.S. departments, including the State Department and the Office of Internal Affairs. If these departments conclude that these findings are sufficient in the arrest warrant request, then this information is then forwarded to a district judge who would then issue the warrant. So it's complicated.
It's very complicated. Yeah. It's a process. It takes a process, basically. So it could be years before we could get that a warrant. Honestly.
Yeah, which is, it sucks, but I'm glad they're at least working together. These persons would then be arrested and a hearing would take place where all evidence would be presented. If a judge deemed that the evidence is legally sufficient, the person or person would be extradited to face prosecution in Mexico. So again, very, very, very complicated.
Also, thank you, Mexican authorities and the FBI for working
together.
Fucking together. Thank you.
It's actually quite impressive.
That is super impressive. We can't even get like other counties to work together as a police department in the U.S., but we're getting like 2 different countries working together to solve this case.
Yeah.
That's fucking excellent. Y'all did a great job. I cannot stress that enough.
Very excited to see where it goes.
Back to the timeline of the 6th. So Nazir Wiggins arrived the next day after he arrived. So Nazir Wiggins arrived the next day after everybody else was already there. Wiggins stated that he arrived at the villa at 3:30 p.m. Just prior to his arrival, one of the other members of the Cabo Six called him to tell him about Shanquella's condition. However, he states that when he arrived at the villa, Shanquella was still alive, which, given the time frame, this contradicts the death certificate of her time of death being 3 p.m.
So when did he arrive?
3:30.
3:30. Oh, sorry, you just said that.
He said that it was clear that she drank too much alcohol, and from the moment he got there, he was by her side.
So now, does Nazir know her?
No. These are all acquaintances.
Okay. So again,
Khalil is the only one that actually really knows her.
Okay.
Like, these are friends from through friends,
Yep,
basically.
Yep.
Specifically, he said he moved her to a quieter area where he rubbed her head, played music for her, and gave her words of encouragement. His comment about rubbing her head is interesting. It has been revealed that there are visible signs on Shanquella's body that she had been attacked, including large knots on her head, a busted lip, and bruised, bloodshot eyes.
But he didn't say any of that.
He did not.
Even though he was rubbing her head.
He was rubbing her head.
Yeah.
But there are visible signs of knots on her head, bloodshot eyes, and a bruised lip.
And he says it's
alcohol poisoning. Mm-hmm.
Bullshit.
So clearly his character is in question at this point.
Yep.
People questioning what the exact time he arrived at the villa. He did post a picture of his flight information, but his name was not seen on that document. So for him to try to cover up and set a narrative of like, actually, I did show up at this time, but his name was not on the fucking document of what he did.
Did he post that before? Like, you know how sometimes when you like post like your ticket or something or like your passport?
No, it wasn't before. This is after like they're getting backlash.
Bullshit.
Yeah. This is after they're getting backlash that he posted that.
So on November 19th, Shanquella's funeral was held. They had this beautiful pink and yellow casket, which were her 2 favorite colors. She was carried in on a horse-drawn carriage.
That's so beautiful.
In the days that followed her funeral, Salamandra and Bernard voiced their frustrations about how little information was being released about their daughter. Unfortunately, the FBI has kept whatever information they do have very close to the vest. And I do understand this regardless, they have to do that sometimes. But
as
working
a family
with
member, it's
country though, and like dealing with, I get why the FBI is doing it. It makes it to where you can. Hopefully these people get convicted.
Exactly.
And so, they're maintaining the integrity of the investigation, which I completely understand. So, but it is hard for the family.
The family's like, why
it's
can't
not
you
fair.
tell us like a little bit?
Yeah. So then on November 21st, the police report comes out and completely contradicts the death certificate. Again, just a reminder, the police report goes off of witness testimony, whereas the death certificate goes off of scientific findings.
I always go off of the autopsy more than a police report because, as we've just stated, it's witness testimony.
Exactly.
It's not based on science.
Yep. So the report stated at 2:13 p.m., Winter Donovan, one of the females in the group, called the resort to ask for a doctor to be sent to their villa to treat Shanquella due to alcohol poisoning.
By 3:15, Dr. Carolina Gutierrez from the American Medical Center arrived at the villa. She reports that upon her arrival, Shanquella was alive but severely dehydrated and was unable to communicate. After several failed attempts to give her an IV, the doctor informed the other members of the group that Shanquella needed further medical attention and needed to be transported to a hospital. The members of the group refused to follow what the doctor was saying, insisted that Shanquella stayed at the villa and continued to be treated there. These pieces of shit came out and said that the cost to take Shanquella to the hospital would cost $5,000. Then they said they just didn't have the money to do it.
So you're not gonna. Your friend isn't worth $5,000, even though you guys spent how much to come down on this trip?
Wait, I gave this a gook, and pieces of shit are flat out lying. The Mexican healthcare system is worth half of what it is in the U.S., even without insurance, which Shanquella did have. Half.
So it's not even what they're. It's not $5,000.
No,
they're just lying.
I mean, it could be like $1,000.
Which $5,000 is worth. $10,000 is worth it if one of your best friends is dying.
But
no matter what, you figure out the finances later.
You figure that out.
save her.
I completely understand that. But the fact that they're saying like it would have been $5,000 and that's why they didn't take her.
It's bullshit. It's just another lie.
It's a fucking lie.
Yeah. So the police report also stated that Dr. Gutierrez was in the villa for over an hour, but then Shanquella started having seizures. Now, emergency services were supposedly called around 4:20 p.m. While they were waiting for the ambulance, Winter and Dr. Gutierrez started to perform CPR. Mexican authorities arrived at the villa around 5:25 p.m., more than an hour after emergency services were called. Officer Omar and David of the
David of the law.
Yeah. Officer Omar and David of the Los Cabos Municipal Police Department were the first two officers to arrive on scene. They were debriefed by Dr. Carolina Gutierrez, who informed the officers that medical treatment was requested of a young lady who had ingested too much alcohol. She said she found the female in stable but unresponsive condition. She had planned for Shanquella to be admitted to the hospital to be put on an IV line, which the Cabo 6 refused to admit her. In total, the report states that she was administered 4 rounds of CPR.
14. That's 14.
Sorry. Administered 14 rounds of CPR. Jesus Christ. 4 doses of adrenaline.
5. Are you blind?
Oh my God. 5 doses of adrenaline. Okay, let's try this again. And
so,
yep. In total, the report states that she was administered 14, in fact, not 4, rounds of CPR, 5 doses of adrenaline, and 6 discharges from a defibrillator, all with no luck. Now, Shanquella was declared dead at 5:57 p.m. and cardiac arrest due to cardiac arrest from alcohol poisoning was noted as a cause of death here. Now, we'd like to point out that there were no internal or external injuries reported on the police report, even though we've also heard from the ME that there were obviously large knots, like bruising to her lip.
Bloodshot eyes.
Yeah. Good boy. Now, literally, this entire report contradicts everything that the death certificate said. Now, including the time of death and the cause of death. Just a reminder, the death certificate said that Shanquella would have died within 15 minutes of receiving that neck injury, and it says that her estimated time of death was 3 p.m., not 5:57 p.m.
Yeah, not close to 6 p.m., which is ridiculous. The police report says that she was alive for several hours and died around 6 p.m. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it just, no.
So in the last couple of weeks, it has been made very clear by public officials that regardless of what is said in the police report, Shanquella's death is a result of a direct attack. Since day one, Shanquella's parents have been adamant that there was more to the story, and they have worked tirelessly to get this story out. They have done tons of interviews, clearly will not rest until everyone is held accountable for the murder of their daughter, which...
Good.
Salamandra and Bernard, you're doing the girl. You're doing the damn thing for your daughter, which, I mean, you should be, and we applaud that.
Absolutely.
We've had several cases that that's not happened, and it's really nice and refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Salamandra has spoken out and says that she thinks that authorities wrote down the story that was being told and didn't take a second to actually look into what happened, which would be the only, like, I've thought about this, and that would be the only reason why that the police report and the death certificate are so contradicted, because they literally just took what was said to them and wrote it at face value.
Yeah.
They didn't take a second to actually look into anything.
Investigate. Yeah.
As of January 18th, 2023, the Mexican prosecutor probing the murder of Shanquella Robinson is asking the U.S. to help determine if there were any accomplices in the crime, while the main suspect has yet to been extradited. Baja California Sur Attorney General Daniel de la Rosa Anaya said during a press conference that there is no impunity in the case, and his office is working with the U.S. authorities to order interviews for everyone involved. It is important to obtain a court order with regard to whoever is responsible for this, but also if there were any accomplices, is what he said.
Good.
So, Natalie, final thoughts.
I think that they were all drunk. They got into a fight. I don't think they were intentionally trying to murder her.
I don't think so either.
But I think they got into a fight. They got in over their heads and they freaked out, and then they were the worst human beings in the world.
If there is a Dr. Carolina Gutierrez, I would love to hear firsthand your actual thoughts.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's made up. I don't know if she's real.
I think she's probably real, right?
This is all witness testimony.
Oh, you're saying, I'm sorry. But let's backtrack. Yes. Okay. Gotcha. That's the ones who,
I mean, she did. There was someone that identified as Dr. Carolina Gutierrez on the witness testimony for the police report. But is that an actual doctor?
Yeah. I don't know. I genuinely think that these people got really drunk. They got into a fight. They got in over their heads. And they were awful human beings. And they should be held responsible. I just don't think it was premeditated.
I don't think it was premeditated at all. I think circumstances just happened. I mean, alcohol will do a lot of things to people.
And they were being absolutely ridiculous. So why 5 people would stand around and let this poor girl who's not fighting back.
6.
Well, no, 5 watching, right? Because there were 7 total.
Right.
So 5 watching, 2 in the fight. So 5 people were watching this fight. 1 person was actually doing the hitting. And everyone saw that Shanquella was not fighting back, but no one stepped in.
No one stepped in
That's
and said,
ridiculous.
hey, that's too much. We need to back off a little bit or at least stop the fight.
Exactly. That's ridiculous to me. And so they should be held accountable.
As friends, if you see your friend that's being brutally beaten to where you have knots, bloodshot eyes, a busted lip, obviously something's not right.
Exactly. I mean, even if you're not a friend, even if you're just a bystander, you should step in when you see what's happening. This is such a bad video. She's completely naked, being beaten, dying.
So what do you think, as psychology majors and masters, what do you think about this? Do you think it's jealousy that's contributing to a lot of this?
I genuinely think it comes down to there was a lot of alcohol flowing.
Definitely.
Which is what escalated it. But
definitely a lot of alcohol. The baseline of what's contributing to this entire thing.
Yeah, I think it was just a girl spat. I think there could be some jealousy. There could be... I mean, she was a beautiful... What the hell?
Beautiful black woman.
Successful.
Very successful. Had 2 businesses. Had
money.
Had money from social media. She was getting recognized. She was 25. Had her whole life in front of her. And then these acquaintances that just she so happened to go on vacation with didn't really know. I mean, they knew of her, but didn't really know her as an actual friend.
Right. Yeah, I think it's...
Probably got jealous, which is why they started the Mean Girls Club, where they all went into one room and was talking.
But those were the boys, too.
The boys can be just as jealous as other people.
Yeah.
I mean, we just covered, what's her face? Abby Cho.
Yeah. Yep.
Where the dad was just as jealous.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that... Yeah. I think there was something obviously underlining, to your point, probably jealousy. Maybe they just don't like her. I mean, not everyone gets along, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a perfect world. Not everybody gets along. But that doesn't mean that they go and
murder someone
and try to cover it up.
It's a murder, no matter what. Even if it wasn't premeditated, it's a murder. And there was no... I'm glad the video's off. Like I said, I'm glad the video's no longer online. But if you saw that video, it's absolutely atrocious. The fact that, 1, that girl kept continuing to do it, and that 5 people stood by and did nothing, it just makes me sick.
Filming it for social media.
Yeah.
Filming this.
Yeah. It's absolutely
You
ridiculous.
just want to degrade her even more.
I know. And I hate this one, but I am glad that it got a lot of coverage. I'm glad that people are going to be held responsible. I truly believe people are going to be held responsible. I know it takes a little bit more time because of the complexities being between two countries, the FBI working with the Mexican authorities, but I do truly believe that everyone involved will eventually be held accountable.
I think it still has a long way to go. The fact that like the family had to beg to get like these major ABC, CBS, NBC, like to cover her case when that wasn't the same thing as Gabby Petito. Like literally she was everywhere. They had to fight and claw their way to get her story out, their daughter's story out. And that's the main difference here. I think they have a long way to go to make the FBI like really, really go for it. I know that they're opening a case. Yeah. But I mean, they have a lot going on.
No, I think they'll there's enough media attention. There's enough evidence. Like, I think everyone will be held responsible. Yes, it will take a long time.
But then they have to negotiate with the Mexican authorities to turn over everything.
And that's where it's going to take a long time. But they're already starting those processes. Like, they've already gotten an extradition warrant. Like, they're already starting to make steps towards doing that.
I agree.
And so I think it will happen. But it is frustrating. I think these people should be completely ashamed of themselves. The fact that they let this happen and then just fled and tried to cover their own asses is disgusting. And I am a huge believer in karma, and I think it'll come back around.
I'm a huge believer in karma, but do you think it's something to do with authorities in general? Because in the U.S., African Americans aren't likely to actually call the police? No. You don't think it's anything like that?
No, I don't. I think, no, I don't. I think that they fucked up and they let something go too far and they murdered someone and they were trying to get away with it. And
they murdered an acquaintance and also a best friend. Yeah. Quote unquote.
And that's why I think they were just trying to get away with it.
I think this case has sat with me a long time since I've written it. And it took me a while to actually write this script because I was just wanted to do it justice. Yeah. Like Salamandra and Bernard, y'all are doing everything right. Yeah. Y'all are doing the best you can to make sure that this case is getting like well known where everybody knows it.
Yeah. Getting the attention it deserves.
So I really hope that soon we will know the actual truth because you went so long without knowing the actual truth of your daughter's death.
Yeah. And I think we will. But guys, let us know what you think down below. Let us know what you think happened. Do you think this was actually premeditated? Do you think it was just a drunken fight gone wrong? Let us know if you thought that this was informative. Please like, comment, subscribe. It helps us out tremendously.
It does, actually, because if you like hearing our episodes, the more likes, the more comments and everything is better for our algorithm so that we can actually continue doing this because it's getting to the point where it's hard.
Yeah, it
is
to
manage all of it.
It is, especially with this little shithead over here. But with that being said, until next time, guys,
be a bitch and stay alive. Cheers.